Namaskar, and welcome to the ninth concert under Dhwani's monthly performance series, Pehchaan. We begin with a Santur recital by Partho Roy Choudhary.
Dr. Partho Roy Choudhary. Partho Roy Choudhary is one of India's upcoming Santur players. Partho was initiated to the Santur at the age of 5 and thereafter underwent intensive training in the tradition of Guru Shishya Parampara under the tutelage of his father, Sri Kumar Shankar Roy Choudhary, sarod player, and Pandit Mahadev Mishra, vocalist from Banaras Gharana. To provide more dimension to his son's musicianship, his father capitulated his son to Maestro Ustad Amjad Ali Khan Sahib. His performances masterfully combine the depth and rigor of the tradition of Hindustani classical music with an inspired imagination and emotional intensity. He has performed in various places all over India. He is respected for the clarity of musical understanding which he brings to the unfolding of a rag and the beauty of the tone he evokes from the Santur. Partho has been teaching at the Doon School for the past 10 years and presently heading the music department. He is an AIR graded artist. Partho will be performing Rag Marva. He will be accompanied by Shri Avijit Chattopadhyay on tabla. Rishika, Oishee, and Aaliya. Rishika Chakraborty, Oishee Bhattacharjee, and Aaliya Qureshi have spent the last 11 years studying Kathak under the tutelage of Srimati Bhashwati Mishra and are completing their Visharad from Pandit Shambhu Maharaj Kathak Academy, New Delhi. They have had the privilege of working with the Dhwani repertory and have performed in many festivals all over India, some of them being the Khajuraho Dance Festival, the Rashtriya Shilp Mela, Vasant Utsav, etc. Rishika, Oishee, and Aaliya will start their performance with Hori, followed by Teen Tal, and conclude with Chalo Guiya Aaj Khele Holi. Tabla accompaniment by Siddharth Chakraborty.
तत मन को लुभावत ऐसो मंत्र पढ़ो रे, ऐसो मंत्र पढ़ो रे। सास ननद की चोरी चोरी, सास ननद की चोरी चोरी, निकल चलो सब गोरी गुइया, आज खेले होली रे कन्हैया घर, चलो गुइया 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 आज खेले होली गुइया, आज खेले होली गुइया, आज खेले होली।
We now have a conversation. We are delighted to have with us the very talented Kalpana Raghuram, a leading Bharatanatyam dancer and choreographer from the Netherlands. She is also the founder of the dance company Kalpana Arts. In conversation with her is Dr. Proteeti Bhattacharjee, a brilliant Kathak dancer and scientist currently based in the Netherlands Cancer Institute, Amsterdam. Over to Kalpana and Proteeti.
Hi, everybody. A big welcome to you, Kalpana. It's amazing connecting with you on the 9th concert of the Pehchaan series, which is being organized by Dhwani. And on behalf of my guru, myself, and the entire team of Dhwani, I extend you a big warm welcome and a big digital hug.
Thank you. Proteeti. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you, Dhwani, for even considering me and having me on. I'm very excited for our conversation. And I'm very grateful that you are creating this for the whole art scene.
Yeah. Kalpana, I could go the very traditional way of introducing our guest speaker. Of course, that is you. And I'm so much honored to have this chat with you, but I'm super excited. So I think I'm just going to drop the traditional introduction way and rather take the audience with me in your journey. Because what I find really fascinating that you started Bharatanatyam at a very young age. And you started doing this in the Netherlands. So you were not in India. So how all that started and what kept you motivated to continue with the Indian classical dance space as your career path? So could you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Well, yes, I was born and brought up in the Netherlands to my parents who are from South India. And actually my mother, Sharda Raghuram, she was one of the first persons that started teaching. My mother is a Bhattacharjee teacher. And so she was the second person who started to teach in Holland. And so actually in that way, I would say it came part and parcel of being born into the family that I was born into. There was dance. I was teaching at home, and then she started to teach also in other places. And so actually I was watching her teach, went to her performance, started to be part of her classes. So in that way, dance was always in my life. In those days, 70s, 80s, there were a lot of artists traveling also through the Netherlands. They would come home for nice khana, for some good food. They would come home we would have chamber concerts. There would be a lot of these kind of very spontaneous interactions with artists that were all part of my, let's say, upbringing. I never thought that I would take upon dancing as a profession. Neither did my mother. And I would say dancing was in that way always part of my life. I was dancing and I did a master's in anthropology. And for my master's, I started to research dance and I went to Bangalore to do research. So it started to, in that research with my anthropology, become like a bit more than just dancing. And I really started to choose more and more dance. And for my research, I also wanted to study in India. So all this became more and more a choice instead of like, oh, my mom dances, it's like this and I do it. It was on the side, and then slowly I started to choose it more and more and more. And then I started to create my own tours, because in the Netherlands, those days, much less than even now, no South Indian artists, so nobody who could sing, nobody who could play mridangam, nothing. So, and no tours or anything. So I was actually organizing musicians to come from India, getting their visas done, getting contacts with the theaters to create a tour, and then working on my repertoire from the items that I've learned from my mom or in India, or my own items, and really started to, I just got excited. I just wanted to perform. I just wanted to dance. So I just was like, if nobody's going to help me, I have to help myself. And so this is what I really did. It was really from this, there was nothing, and if I'm going to wait, it's not going to happen. So I better be my own role model, and I just better be the pioneer. And so that created that I started to create tours and started to therefore also dance more. And really in that organic way chose to become more and more professional in my performing, and ended up really dancing full time. So it came from, the germ was always there, but then the choice really made it more and more serious, let's say.
That's really cool way of saying it, that the germ was always there.
Yeah.
And the choice kind of, you have that luxury of choice of building in.
Yeah.
And you have kind of created a niche for yourself. You have created a path for yourself, which is so much yours. And what I really like about you, and what I would also like the audience to really connect with is like I got trained in India. I got trained in Delhi with ma'am, with Srimati Bashmati Mishra. And, the kind of access to training that we have in India versus anyone who is doing this abroad. So I think kudos to everyone who is doing that, because I know that there is, that struggle is a different kind of struggle, right?
Yeah, there is nothing in the infrastructure that helps you to choose this in a way, because we have classes once a week. So you really have to train yourself, and you have to choose it. There's nothing in the situation that helps you. There's nobody who does it so you can follow their path. There was nobody who was doing what I wanted to do. So it was really a choice. And so I started to go back to India every year for a few months to train, to work, to, deepen my knowledge about not only dance, but also music and rhythm and everything. But it was really a choice. And what you're saying is also like the difference in Europe. I would say in Holland for sure, there was really nothing helping. So I realized that if I'm going to wait, then another generation is going to not do it. So it's that. And sometimes we forget, both ways are hard. It's always difficult, but in the end, it's our choice, what we can change and choose.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree with you. And so I think, Kalpana, then this brings me organically to my next question, that what could be done better? Because I think this platform, the Pehchaan series, we have had a spectrum of talks by experts who have shared their views, thoughts, ideas about how India as a country kind of represents the beautiful culture that we have. And it's not just in dance or music, it's the entirety of it, the languages that we have, the clothes that we wear, from textiles to everything. Yeah. So now maybe just coming back to the dance and back to the performing arts, what would you suggest could be done to improve this kind of training away from India? So would you have some like quick tips for maybe the senior people, for maybe the the really decision makers who are also listening to us, and not just the younger generation? So what would be your tips in that sense?
Oh, that's a hard one, because it's so different in each country. And it's also like, now what for me, if I just finish the trajectory, I started to perform, I started to do more, and I chose. And in that choosing, you start to see what is going on in that country, what is there as a setup, how does it work. And now I have my own dance company and I'm getting funded. But that whole line was where I saw that there was nothing. But each country is very different. So there's not like one thing. I think it's very much from the demand of the dancers, in my case, since I'm speaking about dance, or if it's musicians, what can we as artists ask for so that it becomes required? Because I think it's also like, if we just only say, oh, it's not there, that is not going to be enough. And I got that feedback a lot, because I would say there's nothing there. And then I would get the feedback, yeah, but what do you want? And if there's just a few people, we cannot organize it. So it's the power of the mass. And it doesn't mean you cannot do anything. But I would say it depends on the country. But see what, other ways. Now the world has changed so much. What different ways can education get stronger? And what different ways can you use the pathways that are already existing for that to bring to come together. Yeah.
I think that's really interesting to hear. And I didn't want to put you on spot, but this is something, this is a very pragmatic thing to think about.
Absolutely.
Right. So even like I have moved away from India for so long, and I do feel that the visibility and the way we do it and the people who do it, all of that matters.
Absolutely.
And how much, gravitas we attach to our own art form also matters. The way we are communicating this also matters. So yeah, these are just thoughts, and I think such dialogue on such platforms will help, hopefully somewhere.
Absolutely. And I love what you're saying. And I would also say, go and seek the decision makers, go seek those people who are in key positions. Don't think, oh, who am I? Everybody matters, and all of us have something to change and contribute if we're aware of it. So I went to speak to people. They were saying, oh, you're so kind of obnoxious, we like it, like I didn't feel I couldn't ask. So don't hold back, because those people who don't, they cannot know what we require if we don't ask for it. And even if they do know and they don't care, what voice can we be that we say, no, this is required? And so this is also the willingness to just be tenacious and go for it, and go look for those people, be a cute pestering person.
Go ahead and do it.
Totally.
You can always run.
They can always say no. You can always have a no, but the yes is always possible. So this is also where you can, this love that you have for your art, let it feed all the way through. Yeah.
All right. So maybe we come back a little bit to so I'm just trying to kind of, because as I said, I'm really, really excited to talk to you, and we have a time constraint. And I also want the younger audience to know some people who are now learning, like they're learning dance and they're kind of performing. And at some point, like you did switch to choreography more, right? So at what point did you decide to do more of that and less of performing, or does it go hand in hand? Just your take on it.
Yeah, it goes hand in hand, and I really love performing. And if you would have told me before that I would do so much choreography, I would have been like, no, I love performing so much. I started to see that I had all these ideas, but if I'm on in the studio or on the stage, I cannot see it. I can film it, but it never looks the same. I started to see that I required to be out to be able to put the elements together from outside instead of from inside. And so when I started to play with that, it gave me so much satisfaction that I was like, oh my God, I love this so much. I love seeing what I am seeing in my head to come into actualization by being outside and actually asking the light or asking the dancer and to take this outside role. So this really also was very organic. I would say everything has been very organic, just following what I'm getting as an information and as an idea and inspiration. So that is how it went. I was choreographing and dancing in my own work, and slowly I started to dance a bit less, and I still dance, but very much less than before. And I really enjoy the choreography because I love to create with people, and it's a beautiful way to work with different artists and different forms. Yeah, so this started to become more in 2010, I would say. I was still performing, I was still doing some work, but I started to do more choreography since then. Yeah.
Kalpana, I have seen some of your videos. Like, it's so unfortunate that we have still not been really able to meet in person.
What happened?
And you do have a unique space from where you operate, from where you conceive your ideas for choreographies. And the reason why I ask you this is because you grew up in Holland. Yeah. So you basically grew up with the best of two cultures, right? So your approach towards your art form is also coming from that space. Yeah. So could you tell us, like, when you do conceive a concept to put forth, what are the elements you're really looking for? Like, what is the aspect of the Indian classical dance that you bring in, and what is sort of, the more, either it's the Western concepts in any which way? So how do you approach your works?
I would say that my performance or my pieces are very much inspired by the Indian bass, because that's who I am. That's how I listen to the music. That's how I look at movement. But I also allow the performance that I choose that match the topic. I choose the dancers that match the topic, and then their capacities, they come together. But the premises in a way would always be from the background that I have. That is my source. I don't need to prove it. I don't have to say I have to put this hasta because then I'm Indian. I'm Indian, and everything about me. So I don't. So that is a big thing that for me is very important, because sometimes we feel we need to show it because we're bringing things together. It's in everything, but it might show more here and it might show differently there, but it's always there. And so it depends on the specificities, but I really play with all that always.
So it's a very liberated space.
Yes,
If I
yes,
may
yes.
say it like that.
Yes, true. Yeah, beautifully said.
Yeah. So that's really, really very interesting. And maybe what we could kind of bring this conversation to an end, which
Yeah.
I'm not liking this.
It's too short.
But we'll be anyways cut off if we don't cut it off ourselves.
Yeah,
So,
no.
Kalpana, if you could leave our audience with the fact. So now, of course, the pandemic is kind of the first thing that comes to all our minds. But then life in general brings in all kinds of challenges all the time. So what would be your mantra of, like dealing with it? Of course, how has COVID affected you as a performer, as an artist, your repertoire, and what, if you could just also tell us what is kind of the similarities that you have seen artists going through in the Netherlands and perhaps back home in India as well. And, how can we all, because we are all creative, the creative people can get even more creative. So I don't have any doubts about that, potential energy there. But how have you kind of come out of this or dealt with it? And what will be your message to all the young people and people who are still learning and who are, ready to get all sorts of inspirational thoughts from you?
Yeah, thank you. Well, with my dance company called Kalpana Arts, what we had a big tour. We were in the middle of a tour when the pandemic started, and so we had to keep on moving the dates. They went from May to April to May, May to June, June to September. It was, and it's the willingness to be flexible. But it was also really where we said, okay, there's a lot. I was supposed to create a new performance with the dance company. We couldn't. All these things we all know. All of us have had it. Cancellations, new dates, cancellations, unclarity. Great time to look back in. So this is what we did with Kalpana Arts. So we really started to see like, hey, what needs attention that we never had time for? What can we do that we didn't have the money for? But now actually, since we're not doing that, maybe we can use it for this. So really turning our energy inwards into our reflections and our vision and becoming clear what we wanted to create, and me as a choreographer with the company, what I wanted to put out. So really bring all that energy that we're used to putting out on stage, out to the audience, inside, to go back to the source and to really resource, I would say. And I think a lot of us have done this. And also always be present with, if we go into I wish it was different, we're not going to go anywhere. So not resisting the change and the challenges, but really using it. There's always possibility. Everything can be used to create a greater possibility. And this is what we did. We changed a lot of things with the company. We reworked. We worked on things that we never had time for. I made 2 solos. A lot of creation energy came coming up. And so never give up, never quit. Just keep going. Because there will be, like you said, always some challenges. Right now, we're in a time that perhaps we have never been in as a human race. We are in this unknown zone. And even then, during any crisis, there are always people thriving. Artists are known for always being able to get out of the box of how it should be. This is a great time to go there and allow ourselves to also replenish and nourish ourselves from that. So I would say be tenacious and allow yourself to give up what you think how it should be. So even if we see that we're doing things, we cannot, like in the Netherlands, the theaters are closed. Slowly things are opening up in India, which is great. But we all know how suddenly we don't have the performance. Suddenly the festival is not there. Suddenly the classes are maybe online. We have to adjust. I would say, please look at now and not how you're used to, and trying to recreate. Because as soon as we go into, oh, we used to do it like this, let's do it like the same online, it won't work because it's not the same. So if we play with what's not the same, then we can actually create a greater thing. But if we're just trying to recreate, we will always be having less. So allow that creativity to come. Don't get stuck in how it used to be. Don't get frustrated. And if you get frustrated, get so frustrated, just go for it, and you'll get tired of being frustrated because you want to be creative. And then you have, don't resist it, but just don't fall into that trap of like, oh my God, it's so bad. We're all in it. The good news is the whole world is in it. It's not like you're sick and everybody's rehearsing and you miss the rehearsals. Everybody's in this. Use it. Use it. Don't give up. Don't give in. Keep going. And look at what is there that you only know, that you can only create. Look at what you can, create, and let yourself be fed by that new unknown zone. It's a great zone for artists, so let us have that. And it's different in each country. In Europe, we cannot complain. There's a lot of governmental support, not for everybody, but definitely more than in other countries like in India. And so it's definitely challenging, but also allow yourself to do what you need to do to pay your bills, and don't give up your art. It will, stay loyal to your soul and to what you desire to create as an artist. And what new ways can you make it work, really?
Thank you so much, Kalpana. Massive thanks. I think that's a beautiful note to end our very candid conversation.
Yes.
I wish we could have continued, but for the sake of time, we stop here today. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us. And hope to see you and hope to see the audience live very soon.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Dhvani. Thank you, everybody. And yes, let's go and let's be what we be. We be artists and we go do it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kalpana. Ciao. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Padma Bhushan, Swapna Sundari. The youngest recipient of Padma Bhushan in 2003, Swapna Sundari is a distinguished classical dancer, singer, and scholar of present times. She entered the field of dance when she was just 14 years of age. During her meteoric rise as a remarkable Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi exponent, she gave innumerable performances within the country and abroad in all the prestigious venues and festivals. Bestowed with many other prestigious honors, titles and awards like Central Sangeet Natak Academy Award, Sahitya Kala Parishad Samman, Swapna was trained in dance and music by a galaxy of veteran gurus. Singer-dancer Swapna Sundari is the only female artist honored with the title Vagyakara by Pandit Sri Amarnath Memorial Society. In 1995, Swapna Sundari founded Vilasini Natyam. She scripted and directed a video documentary, Kuchipudi Revisited, for Government of India's Ministry of External Affairs. She has also authored 2 comprehensive books titled The World of Kuchipudi Dance and Vilasini Natyam, Bharatam of Telugu Temple and Court Dancers. Swapna is the first singer-dancer to bring out audio CDs of Kuchipudi dance music for Music Today and has sung in 9 Indian languages for the music album Janmabhoomi Meri Pyari for HMV Saregama. Under the invitation from the National Manuscripts Mission, Swapna Sundari took up a project for preparing a detailed descriptive catalogue of Telugu manuscripts. She has also extensively surveyed and studied palm leaf, paper and print manuscripts related to music, dance, drama and allied traditions of Telugu people.
Namaste. I'm very happy to be here with all of you as we say goodbye to the season of spring and welcome summer with that bridge month, Phagun. Phagun is synonymous with the festival of Holi. Holi is associated with joy, color and love. On this occasion, I am offering Manmatha Puja, a short devotional composition where the dancer describes various aspects of Manmatha or the god of love. The lyrics are by poetess Muttu Palani, who was a court dancer in the Maratha courts of Tanjore. The entire ballet was choreographed and presented by me for the first time in Indian classical dance in the 1990s. It brought several Nandi Awards from the government of Andhra Pradesh. The ballet was tuned by my late mother, Srimati Sarla Ram. At present, Manmatha Puja, which I have enjoyed singing and dancing to.
Om Namo Ratimanah Kantaya Rajiva Kuntaya Malaya Nilavathaya Manmadhaya Ratimanah Kantaya Rajiva Kuntaya Malaya Nilavathaya Manmadhaya Madhupagunachapanadhaya Manmadhaya Mahita Shringara Sadanaya Manmadhaya Manasijaya Tubhyam Namo Manmadhaya Manasijaya Tubhyam Namo Manmadhaya Manasijaya Tubhyam Namo Manmadhaya.
Basant is a season for dancing. One dances in joy. One dances for enjoyment. One dances in pleasure, enjoying the fine weather and the beautiful sights which spring brings. Here is a short piece of dancing in this very, very concise program which I have been asked to offer today. Basant Nritya.
Thank you.
celebrated in different styles, in different regions of our country, in different ways by different social groups. Here is a song describing the way Basant was celebrated in the courts of Golconda, in the palace of Muhammad Quli Qutub Shah. I present a Dakhni poem by Muhammad Quli Qutub Shah himself. शाह के मंदिर सआदत का खबर लाया बसंत, नैन पुतलियों के चमन में फूल फल लाया बसंत. Dakhni is a beautiful dialect. It is a very, very melodious combination of Persian, Urdu and some local dialects as well. And I had presented this piece as a part of my dance drama on Muhammad Quli Qutub Shah and his love for Bhagamati, who became his queen. Some years ago, when Hyderabad was celebrating 400 years of its founding, I have sung this song and I have again recorded the Bhava interpretation for this program. शाह के मंदिर सआदत का खबर लाया बसंत, नैन पुत्रियों के चमन में फूल फल लाया बसंत. मोहम्मद कुली कुतुब शाह, दखनी पोएट्री. As the country rejoices and enjoys the colors of spring, a question comes to one's mind. What about those who guard our country's frontiers? Those brave men who make it possible for us to stay in comfort and security. वीरों का कैसा हो बसंत, वीरों का कैसा हो बसंत. That question has been expressed beautifully. The thought has been explored beautifully by the famed poetess Subhadra Kumari Chauhan, and I have interpreted this poem as a free verse, not set to any particular raga, I've sung it with the picture in my mind of 4 people to whom this question occurs. The first is the mother who gave birth to this brave son. She wonders how her son is celebrating Vasant. The second is the soldier himself. When he responds to the call of the koel, he is drawn to the thought of enjoying spring, but must return to his duty. The third are the thoughts of a childhood friend of the soldier who recalls playing with him as a child and nostalgically recalls the moments they spent together, and suddenly he stops enjoying the game because he knows that spring celebrations are not possible for his friend. Finally, the woman in the life of the soldier who is waiting to welcome him home, who is bedecked in her finery and has heard that he will be returning. He does return. He does return, but not the way she imagined. वीरों का कैसा होगा संत? Subhadra Kumari Chauhan, which I have relished and sung, and I performed this a few years ago in a public concert. I thought I would share that video on this occasion. वीरों का कैसा होगा संत?
दलित त्राण हो रस विलास या दलित त्राण अब यही समस्या है दुरंत अब यही समस्या है दुरंत वीरों का कैसा हो वसंत वीरों का कैसा हो वसंत वीरों का कैसा हो वसंत मधु वसुधा पुलकित अंग अंग वधु वसुधा पुलकित अंग अंग है वीर वेश में किंतु कंत है वीर वेश में किंतु कंत वीरों का कैसा हो वसंत।
Everything that is created in nature, everything that gives us pleasure, everything that glows bright today must return to dust tomorrow. It is this cyclical aspect that is also represented in the seasons we celebrate year after year. I end the program with a small shloka addressed to Trimbakeshwar. Trimbakeshwar combines the qualities and attributes and the power of Vishnu, Brahma and Shiva. It's a single form that encompasses the energies of all three, the Trinity. Recalling the beauty of spring, where the Godavari springs from, which is Trimbakeshwar in the Sahyadri mountains. The Bhakta or the devotee prays for liberation or moksha at the feet of Trimbakeshwar. Samarth.
सह्याद्रि शीर्षे विमले वसन्तम् सह्याद्रि शीर्षे विमले वसन्तम् गोदावरी तीर पवित्र देशे गोदावरी तीर पवित्र देशे यद्दर्शनात् पातकमाशुनाशम् यद्दर्शनात् पातकमाशुनाशम् प्रयातितं त्र्यम्बकम् ईशमीडे प्रयातितं त्र्यम्बकम् ईशमीडे
On behalf of Dhwani, I thank all the artists for participating in today's concert. My special thanks to Padma Bhushan Swapna Sundari ji for associating with our Pehchaan series. Our next concert under Pehchaan is on 30th April 2021 at 7:30 p.m. IST. A big thank to all the viewers. Have a safe and colorful Holi. Thank you very much. See you soon.